Chapter 162. Elder Sun's words were full of energy. It was like a sudden clap of thunder. Not only Yu Jinling, but everyone else was also dumbfounded. This meant, Elder Sun? What are you talking about? Yu Jinling subconsciously retorted, the one who is alive now is Chu Luiwei. The one who is dead is my Mingzhu. How could it be? At that time, Chu Luiwei and Gu Mingzhu were trapped on the mountain. The black flying python led many magical beasts and surrounded the mountain. Actually, from the beginning, the black flying python wanted to kill Lu Yu. But at that time, the black flying python was trapped for some reason. Lu Yu wanted to take the opportunity to escape. But just as she was about to escape, Gu Mingzhu stopped her. Not only did she attack Lu Yu, she also hugged her leg and didn't let her leave. Although I was some distance away, I saw that she was holding Lu Yu back while talking to the black flying python. But the black flying python didn't care and directly swallowed her into the black vortex. Lu Yu was dragged down by her and couldn't hold on for long. She was also sucked into the vortex. With every word Elder Sun said, Yu Jinling's face turned paler. In the end, she was as pale as a ghost. Her strength seemed to have been sucked away in an instant. She was on the verge of collapsing. The people beside her quickly went forward to support her. Impossible. This is impossible. Mingzhu isn't that kind of person. She wouldn't do such a thing. She appeared fierce on the outside, but was weak on the inside. Although she appeared to be strong on the surface, she actually felt a little guilty. Gu Mingzhu was her daughter, so she knew her best. When Gu Mingzhu returned home, she had repeatedly expressed her dissatisfaction with Chu Luiwei. Later, she made a bet with Chu Luiwei and lost 2 level 5 Xian formation diagrams. Gu Mingzhu hated her even more. The two of them were trapped. She might really, Elder Sun said coldly. Madame Gu, are you saying that I'm lying? Yu Jinling couldn't speak. Her forehead was already covered in cold sweat. How could she dare to say that Elder Sun was lying? Moreover, even if she didn't believe it, Elder Sun was a person of virtue and prestige. Others would definitely think that what he said was true. Yesterday, when she received Lu Yao's letter, she was blinded by anger. All she wanted was to take Chu Luiwei's life. But now, even Elder Sun stood up for Chu Luiwei. The situation had already been decided. Even if she continued to cause trouble, it would be useless. Seeing Yu Jinling like this, everyone came back to their senses. Yu Jinling originally wanted to cause trouble for Chu Luiwei, but now that Elder Sun had spoken, she could no longer pester endlessly. Seeing that the situation was not right, a few people in the crowd quietly turned around and left. Chu Luiwei glanced at him, but did not stop him. In any case, she had already guessed who was behind this, so she didn't need to waste her energy on these small fries. Just as Yu Jinling didn't know what to do, the sound of hurried footsteps came from afar. The crowd quickly opened up a path. A middle-aged man rushed over with his entourage, looking anxious. When he saw Yu Jinling, his expression became even more unsightly. What are you doing here? Hearing this angry shout, Yu Jinling's body trembled and she turned around. Patriarch? The person who came over was burly and had a square face. He looked dignified without being angry. It was the patriarch of the Gu family, Gu Yunfei. He glared fiercely at Yu Jinling. What did I tell you yesterday? Have you forgotten? Yu Jinling shivered and lowered her head, not daring to look at him. I was just thinking about Mingzhu. Gu Yunfei was about to explode in anger. Everything was fine yesterday, but Yu Jinling suddenly ran to him and said that Chu Luiwei must have done something to Mingzhu to be able to come back alive. She said that he must capture Chu Luiwei and interrogate her properly. Gu Yunfei was skeptical. He had always doted on Gu Mingzhu. He felt terrible about her death, but he did not lose his rationality. On one hand, this was only their speculation. They did not have any evidence, so they could not accuse Chu Luiwei. On the other hand, Chu Luiwei's status was different from before. She was highly regarded in Tianlu Academy. How could it be so easy to touch her? He told Yu Jinling not to act rashly and to wait until they had enough evidence. Yu Jinling agreed at that time, but he did not expect her to do it. She even dared to bring people to Tianlu Academy to cause trouble. Looking at Yu Jinling's pathetic state, the Gu family's face and Gu Yunfei's face were all lost. Shut up. Yu Jinling was shocked. She knew that she was in the wrong, so she did not dare to say another word. Gu Yunfei took a deep breath and walked quickly to Old Sun with an apologetic expression. Old Sun, I'm really sorry. I didn't discipline her well, which caused her to cause such a huge commotion. You have always been magnanimous. Please, on account of the fact that we have just lost our daughter, can you let this matter pass? Old Sun waved his hand. You don't have to say that. You don't have to apologize to me. This matter has damaged Lu Yu's reputation. You should ask her. Gu Yunfei was stunned and a little surprised. Old Sun seemed to take special care of Chu Luiyue. At the end of the day, Chu Luiyue was just a student of the academy. Tianlu Academy's reputation had been tarnished by the commotion today. However, Elder Sun's first consideration was Chu Luiyue. He suppressed the shock in his heart and said to Yu Jinling angrily, "Did you hear what Old Sun said? Why aren't you apologizing to Lu Yu?" Yu Jinling widened her eyes. Family head, you want me to apologize to her? She was the matriarch of the Gu family. Who was Chu Luiyue? Gu Yunfei said coldly. Do you want me to apologize on your behalf? Yu Jinling was shocked, and her aura immediately weakened. Without Mingzhu, her position in the Gu family was very dangerous. If she offended the family head now, then she gritted her teeth, and her legs felt like they were filled with lead. She walked step by step to Chu Luiyue, and her voice seemed to be squeezed out from her throat with difficulty. I'm sorry. Chu Luiyue blinked. Madam Gu, what did you say? I didn't hear you clearly. Yu Jinling was so angry that her whole body trembled. How could she not have heard clearly? She was deliberately making things difficult for her. Gu Yunfei looked at her warningly. Yu Jinling had no choice but to close her eyes in resentment. I'm sorry. Mobile users, please browse and read. A better reading experience comes from Love Network. The person at the front sneered and said sarcastically, Third, madam, we're here on First Elder's orders to invite you to the main hall. Lu Yao's heart skipped a beat. Why is First Elder looking for me? Huh, don't you know what you've done? Now, the Gu family is also waiting for you. Please. Lu Yao's heart sank when she heard the words Gu family. Mobile users, please browse for a better reading experience from Love Network. Zhuorong and the others wanted to ask more, but they realized that Chu Luiyue didn't seem to know everything either. In the end, they could only give up. So you're saying that you don't have complete confidence in this recipe? Aren't you treating Liao Zhongshu's life like a game? What if something happens? Xiansong was silent for a while before he spoke with a frown. What else can happen? Others might not know, but don't you know Liao Zhongshu's current situation? If we delay for a few more days, he'll be dead by now. What's there to talk about? Zhuorong impatiently interrupted Xiansong and waved his hand at Chu Luiyue. This guy is stubborn and inflexible. Lu Yu, don't worry about him. Just do whatever you want. Xiansong resentfully shut his mouth. Chu Luiyue sighed softly in her heart. She originally wanted to quietly refine the medicine for Liao Zhongshu, but she didn't expect Zhuorong to be so interested in this matter. From the looks of it, they clearly wanted to see how she would refine the medicine. Chu Luiyue decided to ignore them. She walked over to take out the herbs and began to prepare them one by one. The Imperial Palace, the Imperial Study. Rongxiu stood quietly outside the door, wearing a large black cloak. He was tall and slender, and just by standing there, he seemed to make the surrounding scenery lose its color. Many palace maids looked at him from afar, their eyes full of admiration. Your Highness Prince Li is really good-looking. I don't think there's anyone in the imperial capital who can compare to him just from his elegant bearing alone. Isn't that so? When His Highness Prince Li appeared at the Crown Prince's birthday banquet, he won the hearts of countless women. It's a pity that His Highness Prince Li's health isn't good and he doesn't come to the palace often. It's hard to even meet him. I wonder which noble lady will have the honor of marrying His Highness Prince Li in the future. Sigh. It's a pity that His Highness Prince Li is weak and doesn't have any real power. He's just an idle prince and can't be considered the best. So what? It's already a lifetime of good fortune to be able to see that face every day. Who dares to ask for more? His Highness Prince Li used to be very powerful, but now... Shoo, you dare to say that? Do you want to die? Bang! The sound of something breaking suddenly came from the study. The palace servants hiding in the dark were startled and immediately scattered like birds and beasts. Rongxiu looked up, and one couldn't see any emotions in his deep eyes. Someone hurriedly retreated from the Imperial study. Your Majesty, please calm down. Your Majesty, please calm down. I'll leave now. This battered and exhausted person was the first elder of the Chu family, Chu Xiao. He wiped the cold sweat off his head. His entire body was covered in dust. Chapter 172. After Zhuorong and the rest left, Chu Yuyue's actions became much faster. She stretched out her hand, and with a thought, a red flame suddenly appeared in her fair palm. That small cluster of flame was as agile as a spirit. Although it was weak, it was filled with vitality. Chu Yuyue's eyes widened slightly. This was the first time she summoned her own force after officially becoming a rank 1 warrior. If it was a normal rank 1 warrior, it would be impossible to draw the force out of their body at this stage. Only those who had broken through to rank 4 could do it. But a celestial physician was different. A celestial physician used force to refine medicine. Chu Liyue was only a rank 1 warrior now, so the force she could summon was just a small cluster. Although it was not enough to refine medicine, it was much better than using the big pot to refine medicine. Chu Liyue found a square cauldron for refining medicine and placed her hand on the cauldron's handle, injecting the flame into it. This square cauldron for refining medicine was given by Second Master Yan. When Chu Liyue was checking the gift, she took a fancy to it and thought that she was lacking one. So she brought it to the academy. Huh! That small spark fell into the square cauldron and instantly burned fiercely. Chu Yuyue's eyes lit up. This square cauldron was really good stuff. Previously, she only felt that the material of this square cauldron was good, but she didn't expect the effect to be so unexpected. Using this square cauldron to refine medicine could save her a lot of energy. With such a convenient thing, Chu Liyue heaved a sigh of relief and prepared to put the herbs in one by one. When the second white elephant shell fell into it, it was immediately engulfed by the red flame. In a blink of an eye, it turned into a handful of powder. Chu Liyue was stunned for a moment. A celestial physician used force to refine medicine, and her speed was naturally incomparable to ordinary people. But wasn't this too fast? Did her force have such a strong effect on herbs? Chu Liyue suddenly realized something. She pursed her lips and tried to put in the second herb. It was 100-year-old heaven-guard ginseng. It was as long as a person's forearm, and several vines were tightly wrapped around it. It was cold to the touch, and its texture was hard. The most useful part of this heaven-guard ginseng was the vine in the middle. However, if one wanted to fully utilize its medicinal properties, they would have to squeeze out its juice, which would take a lot of effort. Chu Liyue carefully controlled the flame, and the tongue of the flame gently licked the heaven-guard ginseng. The tendrils on the outside quickly withered, and a drop of yellowish-brown medicinal juice appeared in the square cauldron. Chu Liyue stared blankly, not daring to believe it for a moment. This refining speed was almost comparable to a third-grade celestial physician. Lu Fian glanced at her from the side and mocked her. Min, we're good sisters. You're not even willing to share this with us? Chu Xianmin clenched her teeth. What good sisters? They're just a bunch of dogs who are adding insult to injury. That's right. Min, I heard that your family is quite busy. You probably don't have time to come to Geo Tower to cultivate, right? Why don't you lend it to us first? Said a girl on purpose. The few of them looked at each other and couldn't help but laugh. Everyone knew that Chu Yin was almost beaten to death by Chu Ning, and Lu Yao had offended the Gu family. Now that they couldn't even protect themselves, how could they care about Chu Xianmin? As for the Crown Prince's mansion, if Chu Xianmin had won the Crown Prince's favor, Why hadn't she helped her family solve their problems? These words hit Chu Xianmin's sore spot, and her expression changed instantly. I said that I don't have it means I don't have it. Lu Fian raised her hand angrily. You wait. An anxious young man's voice was heard. Chu Lua looked over and smiled. This person was Ji Yurong. He ran over quickly and handed over his nameplate. I still have 6 hours here. Take it first. We're all classmates. Why do you have to make things so ugly? Lu Fian and the rest looked at him mockingly. Oh, Ji Yurong? Are you trying to stand up for her? Have you forgotten how she rejected you back then? You're too spineless, aren't you? Ji Yurong was a little embarrassed. I am not thinking of anything. We're all classmates. There's really no need to fall out over such a small matter. Besides, this place is quite close to Juyo Tower. It won't be good if the teacher finds out. This sentence successfully made Lu Fian and the rest restrain themselves. She took Ji Yurong's nameplate and drew a line on her own nameplate. A faint light flashed. She threw the dimmed nameplate back. I'll let you off for today. After saying that, he left with the others. After ensuring that they would not return, Ji Yurong carefully looked at Chu Xianmin. Are you all right, Smack? How many times have I told you not to appear in front of me in public? Ji Yurong was very embarrassed. Don't be angry, don't be angry. I just saw them bullying you. I'll leave now, get lost. Ji Yurong could not say anything else. His heart ached as he took a step back. Chu Xianmin closed her eyes in hatred. Now, everyone was laughing at her. Even Ji Yurong only knew how to cause trouble for her. How many times have I told you to pretend that you don't know me when there are other people around? Don't you understand human language? Do you know how hard my life will be if this gets out? If the crown prince had not been busy with his own matters, he would have definitely taught her a lesson. Not to mention, Ji Yurong hurriedly said, Don't worry. I'll make Lu Fian and the rest shut up. No one will find out about this. So what if they find out?